Today's Watson Weekly podcast is brought to you by Miracle. Join the 6X Club, because who doesn't want to grow 6 times faster than everyone else? Miracle's AI-powered platform accelerates e-commerce growth with marketplace, dropship, and retail media all in one place. Trusted by over 450 retailers who got tired of playing small and decided to scale big. It's April 28th, 2025, and this is the Watson Weekly, your essential e-commerce digest. Today on our show, Composable Conference in Chicago shows MACH progress. ChatGPT and Shopify partnership teased. And Shopify promotes internally for Chief Design Officer. What's going on? And finally, the Investor Minute, which contains 5 items this week from the world of venture capital, acquisitions, and IPOs. But first, in our shopping cart full of news, Composable Conference in Chicago shows MACH progress. Too long didn't read. US is in a deep freeze. Europe is experiencing a mini boom, and the community got together anyway. The consensus seems to be in the United States is that there are almost no big projects of any kind going forward unless it's deemed critical to investors or the board of directors. On the other hand, there is something of a resurgence in Europe as the EU is beginning to learn how to rely less on markets in the United States, which means more investment there than was expected at the beginning of the year. And this is the opinion of essentially a room of technologists. A few other thoughts and opinions from the event. Had a great time recording a few video clips with Paul Curtis, the CTO of EasyJet, and Adam Bezmek, the Global Director of Experience Engineering at VF Corp. Adam spoke a lot about the common issue that multi-brand holding companies have balancing the two competing goals: rationalization of technology investments versus allowing brand autonomy in these kinds of decisions, especially relative to a brand's specific user and growth goals. I also gave each of them a quick question. What is MACH? Is it a community, a standards body, or a marketing organization? The consensus answer from these two were community, and the community of like-minded implementers. Both Adam and Paul spoke about one of the real challenges with technology. Those pesky, unaligned, yet still opinionated and demanding people. Yes, users, employees, we tend to follow it all up. Another question on my mind is MACH controversial, or is this just only a LinkedIn thing? What's interesting to me is that the founders and curators of MACH are some of the mildest manners, likable people you will ever meet. Yet for those who haven't spent time, there continues to be a lot of misunderstanding, fear, and sometimes even demonization. Why is this? Let me give my opinion here. 5 years in, there are some known failures of projects which appear to follow MACH principles. But I guess, as if all monoliths are successful, this is hardly a criticism. How many crap stores could I point out from BigCommerce, Shopify, anywhere? Still, the light of day tends to take the shine off of some pure principles. Also, people tend to speak in absolutes, sometimes for shorthand, but also it's easier to make a point that way. And I've never seen a situation where the idea of the straw man argument seems to be the prevailing medium of discussion. It's with regards to enterprise architecture. Technologists have opinions and strong ones. They always have. MACH is a byproduct of that, not the originator of it. In short, I still think we're still having the same Eric Raymond argument about the cathedral and the bazaar here in good old 2025. And given the founding of MACH, there's always going to be at least some skepticism of the involvement of the original members, namely commerce tools. In particular, if you're another platform. Yet, platforms still remain members and derive value from the community. Finally, there's that Shopify question. And I've often posed this question to MACH members. For MACH to win, does Shopify have to lose? Personally, I think no. And if you look at the average enterprise stack for any retailer above $1 billion, you'll find dozens and dozens of vendors. Only one of those is the platform. What have you started to see in the MACH Alliance is actually several members starting to mix in Shopify as the front end of a composable e-commerce stack. Not exclusively, mind you, but as one of a number of options. In essence, Shopify could look like a replacement for a CMS and a checkout for those emerging brands. Our second story, ChatGPT and Shopify partnership teased. Recent news from Testing Catalog indicates that Shopify and ChatGPT are likely on a path to launch some kind of partnership which would allow at least a direct link from ChatGPT Answers panel to a Shopify checkout at worst and an easier integration to OpenAI's operator at best. Obviously, all of this is speculation. The logic seems to be AI will take over the world. AI seems to be partnering with Shopify. As a result, Shopify will take over the world. Does this logic make any sense? To my mind, if OpenAI operator were any good, you wouldn't need this custom integration, right? It would just kind of agentic the integration. See what I did there? As a result, the dream of a universal shopping cart does not seem like it is quite within reach just yet. Still, consumers are having conversations and brands should want to be in those conversations. That's just a fact. You should want to be where your customers are, at least those healthy customers that match your ideal customer profile. But at what cost? Well, most of the downsides for a brand being included in AI are kind of who moved my cheese style objections, which is like, what about my brand front end? Why won't they go through that experience? And as long as the consumer is in the driver's seat, you should still want to be in these places. In that vein, I do predict OpenAI will even publish a set of standards for e commerce to make things easier for themselves. Those things could have broad uptake. So, this likely won't be the first or the last integration touchpoint you'll see. For Shopify, there are a few risks also. Minimal, but they're still there. What's the point of the Shop app again? What if consumers start to get their shipping updates from ChatGPT too? Would Shopify not just become kind of a headless back end in the worst case scenario here? Essentially routing between ChatGPT and Amazon logistics services? Shopify could view this kind of disruption as kind of a cost of doing business to stay ahead of this new era. The real interesting question to me is, could AI-guided commerce accelerate the growth of e-commerce further? Or does it steal from other outlets? The next question is, why would OpenAI do this now? I think there are two obvious answers. One is, e-commerce is still obviously a fertile area for experimentation. And two, Anthropic Claude could likely advantage Amazon, so OpenAI may have a competitive reason for the tie-up too. So what should brands do about this? Ultimately, connecting your brand's back office to AI will become a checkbox everywhere, regardless of this announcement. The front end, in my mind, is more interesting. There are a lot of people saying that organic content is useless in the AI era. Well, not me. The best content will be found by AIs and used in the experience to help consumers make decisions. All the low-hanging fruit suggests brands should continue to prioritize text-based content in any arena, including their own site blog, not to mention Reddit, X, and other sources. Any place an AI spider is likely to show up. And our last story. Shopify promotes internally for Chief Design Officer. Unlimited design flexibility has never been Shopify's forte. Historically, while you can always build your own template, most people built templates badly, and the process was not all that different than what other platforms offered. Of course, over time, that has changed and improved, and now there are a lot of front-end options on Shopify. Almost too many? Do I need a CMS? Which one? Why? What the hell is a headless? Should I use Dawn? Or another theme? Why do any of these questions even matter? They kind of seem like nonsense. It seems to me that Shopify is reimagining its entire executive team for the age of AI, and this process seems to start in earnest back when Toby got rid of his logistics side quest a couple of years back. It went into overdrive about 8 months ago when Shopify chose a new AI-oriented chief technology officer. Simply put, AI will completely change the front end of user experiences and democratize the creation of them, helping those AI create user experiences that achieve the following goals seems to me like the first goals of a chief design officer at Shopify in 2025. First, make it easier than ever to start a store. Second, allow absolutely anyone to improve their existing store incrementally with a few statements. Third, reduce the needs for so many damn apps on Shopify. In my mind, the Shopify ecosystem could shrink and by a lot, and we wouldn't even miss the apps lost. Fourth, include testing and data at the core of any design methodology. Why do I need to buy a separate A/B testing tool here in 2025? I have no idea. And finally, provide guardrails so that errant design prompts don't tank conversion. I also think that in a nod to enterprise, Shopify should provide connectivity to modern tool sets, things like Adobe Creative Cloud, Figma, and emerging players, for enterprises that are looking to use Shopify as their commerce stack, and designers can stick with the tools they love. These would be my goals, and if Shopify or anyone really could achieve them, we would be pushing the ball forward, and especially in a way I've not seen elsewhere. Congrats, Carl Rivera, on his new role. Of course, the cynic in me says, should the head of the Shop app, is that the right fit? Okay, well, I had to say it, right? But the more rational analyst in me says, Toby really likes entrepreneurs running large areas of the Shopify business, and that fits the bill to a T. It's that time, friends, for our Investor Minute. We have 5 items on the menu today. First, customer engagement platform Braze acquires OfferFit for $325 million. Customer engagement platform Braze announced its intention to acquire an AI decision engine for $325 million in a combination of cash and stock. Braze is acquired bolt-on to accelerate the use of agentic AI and enable personalization at scale. Is this the first example of an incumbent using acquisitions to scale agents and their opportunities within a sector such as marketing? It's worth noting that the acquisition price, $325 million, is equivalent to about 2 quarters of Braze's annual revenue. Second, EDI platform Crystal raises Series A funding. Crystal, a B2B EDI platform, announced that it has raised an undisclosed Series A funding round, which will be used to invest in product development and its AI solutions for brands, manufacturers, wholesalers, retailers, and 3PLs. If you've ever worked in a project and you see or read EDI, it's painful. Using AI to solve EDI workflows enables B2B to get to market faster. Also, can we agree that the line between B2C and B2B for EDI is very blurred? Third, Dollar Tree sells Family Dollar to private equity funds for $1 billion. Dollar Tree has agreed to sell Family Dollar to asset managers Brigade Capital Management and Macellum Capital Management for $1 billion. Spending $9 billion in the hopes of having better opportunities to defend a part of the market, dollar stores, which is highly competitive, only for it to flop, highlights the challenges associated with mergers and acquisitions. After a disastrous 9 years, Dollar Tree will unlock value for its shareholders and enable Family Dollar a growth opportunity. Fourth, DHL Group acquires CryoPDP from Cryoport. German mail and logistics multinational DHL Group has announced that it's acquired 100% of specialty CryoPDP from Cryoport from a reported $195 million and agreed to a strategic partnership to strengthen its supply chain service offerings for the global life sciences and healthcare sector. The acquisition aligns with DHL's strategy to become a major player in healthcare logistics by 2030, as life sciences and healthcare contributed to more of a $5.4 billion in revenue to the group in 2024. And finally, marketplace management platform Geared raises $8 million in Series A investment. Marketplace orchestration platform Geared announced that it's raised $8 million in Series A funding, which will be invested in product development, talent addition, and partnerships. Brands managing the marketplace channel currently have to use a variety of solutions to grow this fast-growing and important channel. The company reportedly will have $20 million in annual recurring revenue this year. It will be interesting to follow friends of the program, Jordan Seeloff, and the Geared team. Congrats. Did you know that RMW Commerce has another podcast? Check out the Watson Weekend for an unfiltered and lively e-commerce chat each week with me, Rick Watson, my co-host, Jess Liseski, and an array of interesting guests and topics, all focused on e-commerce. You can find the Watson Weekend by searching for it on iTunes, Spotify, or YouTube. That's all for this week. Till next time, Watsonians. Hi, I'm Rick Watson, CEO and founder of RMW Commerce Consulting and host of the Watson Weekly podcast, your essential e-commerce digest. Our production partner for this series is Podcast on the Fly. To hear new episodes of the show every Monday morning, subscribe now at rmwcommerce.com/Watson Weekly and wherever you get your podcasts.